dedicated language enthusiasts, and a very warm welcome back to another engaging episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, your ever-enthusiastic host, ready to accompany you as we decode more fascinating and frequently used expressions in the English language. It's simply wonderful to have you with us today.
And greetings from me too. It's Jack, back again, ready to inject a bit of humor and maybe a terrible pun or two into our proceedings. We are absolutely thrilled that you've decided to invest your valuable time with us here on Idiom Insights, diving headfirst into the wonderful world of English idioms. Get ready to learn and hopefully chuckle a bit.
That's exactly our plan, Jack. We firmly believe learning should be effective and enjoyable. Today we've curated 4 particularly useful idioms. Understanding these expressions will definitely help you grasp the nuances of everyday English conversation and sound more natural when you speak.
You can say that again. So prepare your minds for a linguistic workout, listeners. On today's jam-packed episode of Idiom Insights, we're going to explore, first on our list, save your breath. Sounds like advice for singers, but what does it really mean in conversation? Next up, a very important one for relationships, seeing eye to eye. Does this involve an actual eye exam? We'll find out. Third, the idiom of indecision, sit on the fence. Comfortable perhaps, but decisive? Not so much. And finally, an expression for uncanny coincidences. Speak of the devil. Is it as sinister as it sounds?
What a fantastic selection, Jack! These idioms cover situations involving persuasion, agreement, indecision, and surprise. Before we explore why you might need to save your breath, just a very quick and friendly nudge from us. If you find these deep dives into English idioms on Idiom Insights valuable for your learning journey, please do take a moment to hit that subscribe or follow button on your podcast player. It ensures you won't miss future episodes.
Yes, indeed. And while you're there, tapping that like button or leaving us a rating or review truly helps other learners discover the show. It lets us know we're on the right track and fuels our passion for creating this content for you. Right then, administrative tasks completed. Emma, shall we begin? Are you ready to tell our listeners when talking might just be a waste of air?
Let's do it, Jack. Our first idiom today is save your breath. This is quite a direct expression. What does it mean if you tell someone to save their breath, or if you decide to save your own breath?
Good question. It sounds like conserving energy, and that's close to the meaning. If you tell someone to save their breath, or you decide to save your breath, it means you believe that talking or trying to persuade someone about a particular topic is useless because they are not going to listen, change their mind, or understand. You feel that explaining or arguing is simply a waste of time and effort because the other person is stubborn, uninterested, or simply won't accept what you're saying.
That's a very clear explanation, Jack. It implies futility. For example, imagine you're trying to convince your friend to try sushi, but they absolutely hate fish and have told you this 100 times. You might eventually think, okay, he's never going to try it. I should just save my breath. There's no point continuing to argue or persuade.
Exactly. Or perhaps your teenage son insists on wearing a completely inappropriate outfit for a formal event, despite your reasoned arguments about the dress code. After a while, you might say to your partner, honestly, just save your breath trying to convince him. He's determined to wear those ripped jeans. You recognize the effort is wasted.
It really emphasizes the speaker's belief that further discussion is pointless. It can sometimes sound a little bit abrupt or resigned. Now, let's listen to a conversation between Mia and Mark. It sounds like Mia is trying to persuade Mark about something he's quite resistant to.
Mark, I was reading this fascinating article about the benefits of incorporating kale smoothies into your daily diet. It says they boost energy levels, improve digestion, and are packed with vitamins. You really should try starting your day with one.
Kale smoothies? Oh, Mia, are you serious? We've talked about this green sludge trend before. It sounds absolutely disgusting. Soggy, bitter leaves blended up? No, thank you very much. Give me my coffee and toast any day.
But Mark, this article is backed by scientific studies. It details all the specific nutrients and how they impact your body positively. Maybe if you just read about the antioxidants, you'd see it's not just a trend. It could genuinely make you feel better. Look, I even bookmarked this section on energy metabolism for you.
Mia, I appreciate your concern for my health, I really do. But the thought of drinking blended kale first thing in the morning makes me feel slightly ill. My mind is completely made up. I am not drinking green sludge, ever.
Okay. I can see I'm not going to change your mind on this one. No matter how many scientific articles I quote, I guess I should just save my breath. Coffee and toast it is then.
A wise decision, Mia. Now, about that coffee.
You could really feel Mia's enthusiasm hitting a brick wall there, couldn't you? Mark was absolutely adamant. completely closed off to the idea. Mia tried presenting evidence, but eventually recognized his resistance was total. Her final line, "I guess I should just save my breath," perfectly shows her resignation. She realized further persuasion was futile.
Exactly. It marked the end of that particular persuasive effort because she knew it was pointless. So listeners, have you ever been in a situation where you had to save your breath? Or wished someone else would save theirs? What topics often lead to these kinds of dead-end conversations? Share your thoughts in the comments section for this episode of Idiom Insights.
Let's move from futile discussions to harmonious ones. Our second idiom today is all about agreement, seeing eye to eye. Emma, this one sounds quite poetic. What does it truly mean when people see eye to eye?
It is a nice phrase, isn't it? And it means exactly what you might guess. If two or more people are seeing eye to eye on something, it means they agree about it. They have the same opinion, the same perspective, or the same understanding of a situation. There's harmony and accord between them on that specific topic. It's the opposite of disagreeing or having conflicting views.
That's a relief after our last idiom. So, agreement and shared perspective. For example, if you and your business partner are discussing future strategy for the company and you both have the exact same goals and ideas on how to achieve them, you could say, "It's great that we see eye to eye on the company's direction." It signifies complete agreement.
Precisely. Or perhaps you and your spouse are planning a family holiday. If you both instantly agree on the destination, the type of activities, and the budget without any argument, you are clearly seeing eye to eye on your holiday plans. It makes decision-making much easier when people are aligned like this.
It certainly does. It suggests compatibility and a shared mindset, at least regarding the subject at hand. Let's tune into Mia and Mark again. Hopefully they're having a more agreeable conversation this time, perhaps about a home project.
I was thinking about redecorating the living room this autumn. It's looking a bit tired, don't you think? Maybe some new paint, perhaps rearrange the furniture?
Oh, Mark, it's funny you should say that. I was thinking the exact same thing just yesterday. I completely agree, it definitely needs a refresh. I was picturing maybe a warm, neutral color for the walls, something cozy but bright.
That's exactly what I had in mind. Not too dark, but something warmer than the current pale gray. Maybe a soft beige or a very light terracotta color. And I definitely think we should move that big bookshelf away from the window to let more light in.
Yes, moving the bookshelf is a brilliant idea. And I love the idea of a soft beige. It would go perfectly with our blue sofa. See, this is easy. It's so good when we see eye to eye on these decorating decisions right from the start.
It really is. Makes the whole project much more enjoyable when we're on the same page. Okay, let's look at some paint charts this weekend then.
Perfect. I'm already excited.
Well, that was much more harmonious. You could hear the agreement building throughout their conversation. They shared the same initial thought, redecorating, agreed on the general approach, new paint, rearranging, and even liked similar color ideas. Mia's comment, "It's so good when we see eye to eye," perfectly summarized their shared perspective and agreement.
It really did. It highlights how smoothly things can go when people share a viewpoint. So, our wonderful listeners, who do you usually see eye to eye with? And on what topics? Or perhaps more interestingly, when is it difficult to see eye to eye with someone? Let us know your general thoughts below.
Moving on from clear agreement to the opposite, uncertainty. Our third idiom for this Idiom Insights discussion is sit on the fence. Jack, what does this phrase suggest? It doesn't sound like a very committed position.
Definitely not. A fence is a boundary, a divider between two sides. So if someone is sitting on the fence, it means they are avoiding making a decision or choosing sides in a dispute or argument. They remain neutral, undecided, or uncommitted, often because they don't want to upset either party involved, or perhaps because they genuinely can't make up their mind. They aren't firmly in one camp or the other.
That's a great explanation. It implies neutrality or indecisiveness. For instance, if two of your friends are having a disagreement and ask you to support their side, but you can see valid points in both their arguments and don't want to alienate either friend, you might choose to sit on the fence. You avoid taking sides.
Exactly. Or imagine a politician who is asked about a controversial new policy. If they give vague answers and avoid stating clearly whether they support or oppose it, critics might accuse them of sitting on the fence to avoid losing votes from either side of the issue. They refuse to commit.
It often carries a slightly negative connotation, suggesting a lack of courage or decisiveness, although sometimes it can be a genuinely difficult position to be in. Let's hear from Mia and Mark. Is one of them finding it hard to make a choice or take a stance?
Mark, Sarah, and Ben have invited us over for dinner on Friday night, which is lovely of them. but 𝐿𝐲𝐬 also invited us to her birthday party on the same night. What should we do? We need to let them both know soon.
Oh dear. Friday night? Both sound like fun. And I like Sarah, Ben, and 𝐿𝐲𝐬 equally. Sarah and Ben's dinner parties are always so relaxed, but 𝐿𝐲𝐬's birthday will probably be a bigger, livelier event.
I know, it's really difficult to choose. I feel bad letting either of them down. What do you think we should lean towards? Your preference might help me decide.
Honestly, Mia, I genuinely don't know. Part of me wants the quiet dinner, but another part thinks the big party could be more fun. I can see the pros and cons of both options very clearly.
So you're not going to help me decide then? You're just going to sit on the fence on this one and leave the difficult decision entirely up to me? That's not very helpful, Mark.
I know it's not helpful, but I really can't choose. Maybe we could try and do both. Go to the dinner first and then head over to the party later? Would that work? Or is that just a way of continuing to sit on the fence?
Ah, the classic social dilemma. Mark is definitely sitting on the fence there. He acknowledges both options have merit but refuses to state a preference, leaving Mia frustrated. His attempt to suggest doing both could even be seen as another way to avoid making a real choice between the two invitations.
Precise. Mia calls him out directly for sitting on the fence. It perfectly illustrates that state of indecision and reluctance to commit to one side or option. So listeners of Idiom Insights, are you someone who sometimes prefers to sit on the fence, or do you usually make decisions quickly? When is it okay to sit on the fence? And when is it better to take a side? Share your opinions in the comments.
Let's move to our final idiom for today, one that describes a very specific, almost magical kind of coincidence. It's speak of the devil. Emma, this sounds a bit ominous. Are we summoning demons here on Idiom Insights?
Thankfully not, Jack. Despite the name, speak of the devil, and the full phrase is, speak of the devil and he shall appear, is a very common, informal expression used when a person you have just been talking about or thinking about suddenly appears unexpectedly. It's said out of surprise at the coincidence. It has nothing to do with actual devils or anything sinister. It's just remarking on the uncanny timing.
Phew, that's a relief. So, it's just about coincidence. For example, you and your friend are discussing another friend, wondering why you haven't heard from him recently. Just as you say, I wonder what David's been up to. Swing David himself walks around the corner. You'd likely turn to your friend and say, well, speak of the devil. We were just talking about you, David.
Exactly. It highlights the immediate connection between talking or thinking about someone and their sudden appearance. Or maybe you're complaining to your colleague about a difficult client. Right in the middle of your sentence, that client walks into the office. You might look at your colleague with wide eyes and whisper, speak of the devil.
It's a way to acknowledge that slightly surprising, sometimes funny coincidence. It happens more often than you'd think. Right, let's listen to Mia and Mark one last time today. Let's see how this coincidence plays out between just the two of them.
Honestly, Mark, where have you been? I've been looking for you for the last 10 minutes. I need to ask you about booking those theater tickets for Saturday, you know? The ones for that new play you said you were desperate to see?
Oh, hello, Mia. Sorry, I was just in the study checking some emails quickly. What about the tickets? Have you booked them already? I completely forgot to look into it earlier today.
No, I haven't booked them yet because I wasn't sure which seats you'd prefer. I was just standing here thinking, I bet Mark has forgotten about those tickets again. I really need to find him and remind him.
Ah, well, speak of the devil, or rather, speak of the forgetful husband. Here I am. You were thinking about me forgetting, and I appeared. Perfect timing to remind me. Let's look at the seating plan now.
Good idea. It is a funny coincidence, though, you appearing just as I was thinking about your forgetfulness regarding these tickets.
Let's just call it good intuition on your part. Now, about those seats.
Haha, a slightly different take, but it works perfectly. Mark appears just as Mia is thinking about him and needing to talk to him specifically about the tickets he'd forgotten. Mark himself uses the idiom, applying it jokingly to his own timely appearance, spurred by Mia thinking about his forgetfulness.
Exactly. It shows the surprise and acknowledges the coincidence of him appearing right at the moment he was being thought about for a specific reason. So, listeners, has this ever happened to you? When was the last time you could have accurately said, speak of the devil? Share your funny coincidence stories in the comments section for Idiom Insights.
We love hearing those. And just like that, we've reached the end of another fascinating exploration here on Idiom Insights. Let's quickly recap the 4 valuable idioms we've added to our collection today.
We certainly covered some common conversational ground. Today we learned, save your breath. Don't waste time talking, because the listener won't be persuaded. Seeing eye to eye, agreeing with someone, having the same opinion or perspective. Sit on the fence, to remain neutral or undecided, to avoid choosing sides. Speak of the devil, said when a person who was just being discussed or thought about appears unexpectedly.
Fantastic! We genuinely hope that discussing these idioms, their meanings, and hearing them used in context has been beneficial for your English learning. Remember, practice is key. Try to notice these idioms when you're listening or reading, and maybe even try using them yourself.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to give them a go. And if you've enjoyed giving your English brain a workout with us today on Idiom Insights, we would be immensely grateful if you could show your support. A quick like, a rating, or a positive review really does help us reach more learners.
And please, ensure you're subscribed or following Idiom Insights so you won't miss out on our next episode, packed with more useful and interesting English expressions. We truly value you being part of our wonderful global community of learners.
Couldn't agree more. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep enjoying the journey of mastering English. Bye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care and happy idiom spotting.